come Debo. Who? Debo.
You just took my idea.
Damn!
Oh my. Oh my.
Everything's gonna be fine real soon. I promise.
You're getting kind of close, Mike.
Am I?
Yeah.
You can't catch me!
I guess I woke up this morning with a little case of the fuck arounds.
Are you for serious, dog? Nobody can fucking kill to me, bro.
Go ahead and
Didn't think I was gonna do it, right? People always do that shit. Kill to me, homie.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
I put this on top of this all. I just gotta see, gotta get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, there's
You're kidding me.
Yeah. Okay, but why don't we start the meeting up? Maybe you should
You're not
touch
gonna
it.
tell me that goes again.
What's that?
Guys, there's another one.
What the hell are you doing?
Want to get down on this?
Speaking of cannibalism, this episode.
Hey, it's a good segue.
Ew.
Yeah.
So
I had a really hard time writing cannibalism. I know I messaged you guys about it last night, but I just realized I just don't write this word often.
I didn't see that message.
So autocorrect
in my notes
wasn't having it.
I was just trying to write it in my notes, and I kept correcting it to Canada or Canadian. I was just like,
these people are Canadian.
Yeah.
I can't believe this whole family is Canadian.
I was really trying to write the note that there is no cannibalism in this first one.
Yeah, but instead there's no Canadians.
There's no Canadians.
Maybe.
I'm sure there's a couple Canadians in there.
Yeah, there's in the background.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They moved to escape the cold.
I'm gonna look it up now if there's any Canadians.
Leatherface is just like sorry.
So I was planning to come into this episode like hot, like guns blazing. But I don't feel that good because of the pasta. So this is going to be a bit.
So it's going to be real. It's going to be the hottest subdued ever.
Yeah.
This is soft as shit I've ever heard anyone ever say. I just can't come in hot because I had pasta yesterday.
Because I had pasta yesterday, and I'm still
like our
feeling the
audience will
effects of
understand.
it. They'll get it. They'll fucking get it. But I have a bone to pick with both of you. Derick, 2.5 stars for the beginning.
Bro, what the fuck?
I don't know how to process that.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man.
And here,
what do you have against democracy?
Yeah, like why do you hate me? You know what I mean? Why I'm taking personal offense? What did I do?
I'm excited because we've been doing this for how long, and Justin hasn't taken personal offense to anything.
I haven't taken personal offense.
This is it.
This is it. This is the line in the sand, dude. This is the line in the sand. Josh, I'll get to you later because at least it's like at least you did 3.5 stars. But still.
I have nice things to say about it.
I thought we were past all of this stuff.
I try. Yeah, no, I still try to.
I thought we were more evolved than this, guys.
Yeah, I'll say this.
Exactly.
I didn't necessarily dislike the movie. I just thought it was a 2.5 star movie.
Yeah. We can love 2.5 star movies.
No, you can't. It's 2.5 stars. 2.5 star.
But I think that both of these movies are actually good movies.
Well,
yeah, that's what I was surprised.
That was my problem with it. Is that they were the attempt
this
was
motherfucker's going to say it's too good of a movie.
No.
It's too good of a movie.
No.
It's so good.
It's so good it had to be 2.5 stars.
Its level of production, its level of budget, considering all the others that we've watched up until this point, I was expecting a higher level of writing and not as many, I don't know, I don't want to say plot holes, but just inconsistencies and things that didn't make sense and didn't fit.
Like what?
I don't.
I honestly, genuinely think that this is one of the best written like origin stories.
Ever.
Like if you hold this up to something like Solo or some shit, where like everything's like super on the nose and shit. Like I don't know, I think this one's really well done.
I like how I came in ready to compare this to Solo, and James already dropped that nugget where I was like, this was like definitely felt like somebody watched the remake and was like, all right, so we have to cover how he lost the legs, we have to cover how he lost his teeth, we have to cover how he did this, and I'm like, there are some things that you don't need to tell us here. Just like Han Solo's last name should have just fucking been Solo.
That one's dumb.
Traveling alone. I'm like, that's how you get an entire theater to groan. Yeah. But I still really enjoyed this one.
Except for the him cutting the legs off. I love the scene, but admittedly, that one's a little over the top. The rest of it, though, like, I don't know.
But at the same time, like, speaking of that specific scene, and the reason why I think the movie is a 5-star movie is because everything that those characters did felt within the realm of how fucking psychotic they really are.
That feels like something that Arlie Ermey would have Leatherface do. Like, oh, you fucked it up. Cut the other one off.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
It's the
he
same.
was having too much fun in this movie.
So much. Both of them. In both of them. Like, it's just
the
like...
first one in particular, I think he was more present. His presence was more felt in that first one. I think there was more of him. I thought
totally
I feel the other way.
Really? So
yeah, I feel like in the second one it's just safety off drill instructor Arlie Ermey. Like he's
got so much more screen time in the beginning versus the remake. Like
honestly,
so much.
that's the biggest.
He completely stole the show in the first one. Like Leatherface 100%. Is just like a secondary.
I think Briniarski's really a really great Leatherface, but he's not. He's never the focus of these movies, which I think is kind of a good thing. Because there's so much more interesting story to be told with the rest of the family. And like, how is everybody this fucked?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely much more focused on Arlie Ermey. Yeah. So I think it's much more focused on him, and I guess that was the intent too, which I think from a franchise standpoint, you want more Leatherface. And I don't know, like I don't think he's a bad Leatherface. It's an interesting take. Let's just get a really fucking huge, let's get Zangief to play Leatherface, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I do prefer the earlier versions of Leatherface.
I like Gunner because there's no template for it. So it's just it's just him. Like
he created the template.
He created the template, and so it's perfect. Like, and clearly everyone after him, to a certain degree, whether they want to or not, has to try to replicate that in some way. So it's always going to be a bit of a tracing. But I do think that Briniarski is physically, he's the closest to Hansen. Like, he just moves like a fucking tank when he's not running after somebody. But then when he's running after somebody, you're fucked.
Yeah.
He's so fucking explosive and fast.
Definitely.
And just like, you feel the strength out of him that I don't feel out of 3 and 2.
He's a Russian bodybuilder.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that's because I love Leatherface, but I think that's the mistake the studios kept making is they were like, we're going to turn Leatherface into the slasher like icon of this franchise and just focus on him. And it's like, I really like the family element of it because there's 10 other fucking horror franchises that focus on one masked maniac.
Right.
I like that this is a whole,
it's
and
a
that's what I loved about the beginning
town.
is I'm like, and I'm like, how did this like shitty little town, which I've been in these towns and I know that they exist. I'm like, this does seem realistic. He's like, oh, I just killed the entire sheriff's department. I'm just going to take over. Like, who's going to fucking stop him? But so I love the family element of it. I think the beginning was better because it didn't have so many family members. Like the remake almost felt overstuffed with how much they were trying to kind of like pack in with like the women and the baby and all the other stuff kind of going on. You start to lose track. My favorite part of the beginning though is Leatherface is gainfully employed
Yeah,
at the beginning of the movie. He
Yeah.
works at the local slaughterhouse. Like Leatherface gets a W-2. Like Leatherface has
I want to
direct
point
deposit
out
set up.
that in this entire,
Like-
at least to me, this entire franchise, his look when he's gainfully employed is the most terrifying look of the whole franchise. He looks fucking scary as shit.
Yeah.
Why would you employ him?
Yeah.
Because he's good.
Because he'll fucking kill you otherwise. But
what I like about how they are kind of the tweaks that they made is a guy that obviously he has issues, but it's in a way where it kind of almost feels as if here's a guy that can't differentiate between animal and human.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like he just, and that also then explain that whenever you apply that retroactively to like the beginning, it's like, oh, well, I know he's hanging people on meat hooks because one, that's just a very striking like visual of watching somebody do it. But then whenever you see all of this play out, it's like, well, yeah, because he's crazy. Like, you know, there's such a disassociation in between everything empathetic and sympathetic and all of these things. So where it's like, you're not a human, you're just a piece of meat.
yeah, hold on. We say crazy. He's misunderstood. They said it right in the movie.
Yeah, he's totally misunderstood. He's picked on. You know, this is what happens when you get picked on.
This is what happens. This is Columbine in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But like what the element that I really like at the beginning is how it expands on the family, because they did a good job of laying the framework in the remake. And it's like you walk away from the remake with seeing Arlie Ermey, and you're like, all I could think about whenever I remember we watched that the first time, I was like, I want more of that guy in that role.
That, and also, how the fuck is this guy a cop?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was thinking as I was rewatching the remake again. Is I was like, that's the one thing that always stuck out to me. Is I was like, how is this sheriff? How the fuck does this happen?
Right.
And then I'm watching the beginning, and I was like, oh, okay.
And that's why the beginning works so well for me. Because it's like, there's so many questions in the first one, and I don't think that they necessarily had in mind to make an origin for it, but
no, not at first.
That they set up really does.
They weren't going to do anything because they got so much shit for just remaking it. That they were like, okay, well, we're not going to do a sequel. We're just done with it. But then fans kept asking, well, how did he lose his teeth? How did what's his name lose his legs? What are these people? And then they were like, well, maybe we just created some characters that actually are interesting and people want to know more about. So then
those are very strange questions, I feel like, for fan base.
Yeah, I did not.
I don't need to know why.
I don't need it. I don't either.
No, him losing his legs is just the most Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing I can think of.
Exactly.
Just of course he doesn't have legs. Look at this house.
Yeah,
the legs part. We didn't need to know, but that scene was the best. Like when I was reading up on Arlie Ermey, they're like, oh, he actually preferred comedy to drama, which is why he took the role in like Saving Silverman, and he wanted to do more funny roles. And I was like, that makes sense because he's fucking so funny in this movie when he's like, oh, hold him down. Like, why? Because he's not going to like this part very much. Hold him down. Like,
why'd you do that?
Oh, even balance. Balance. Yeah, exactly. Balance. I'm like, this guy's fucking
like what?
Comedic timing. So good.
Yeah, dude.
But I think
would have loved to see him in more comedy.
What I think is so, like I told James earlier, I was like, these movies, like not having watched them in a minute, they feel so fucking nihilistic.
Yeah.
The vibe of them is just so devoid of hope, which so does the original one, but it's almost like they took the fever dream element and the loss of hope element in the ending of part one and just extended it through two movies, because it feels like the scene. I think the best way to like describe it is like in the beginning when I can't remember her name, the blonde, she's tied up underneath the dinner table, and then the grandma and her friend are at the table
fucking having tea while she knocks
talking
the
about,
fucking table.
Yeah, and they're talking about chocolates and making sure you're hydrated enough in this Texas heat.
I just can't stop with them little chocolates.
Yeah, and you have a person tied up under your table.
Yeah.
Like the way that
and they just the complete, like, they're not even like reprimanding her. They're just ignoring her.
Yeah. So it's like little things like that, and how she says, I never had a little girl, like things like that, and moments like that feel or make this family genuinely feel psychotic.
Yeah.
Instead of just watching the first film where it's just they're crazy, they're very loud, they're trying to hit her and like torture her, which is obviously psychotic too. But this one is done in such a way where it's just it doesn't feel as over the top. It just feels like they're fucking crazy. And that's just that's a vibe that I don't think any of the other ones really nailed.
And I don't think that any of the other franchises that have done remakes, which is pretty much all of them at this point, right?
Yeah,
is there any franchise that hasn't had a remake?
Scream.
Yeah. Well, they went back and
that started in the 90s.
Scream is so meta that it's hard to like.
Yeah.
It's still pretty fresh.
Technically still, but
right.
They kind of acted like the new ones were, sort of.
Right.
Yeah. They were requels,
yeah. But yeah, of all the franchises, I think that these two are the most loyal to the source material.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think a huge part of that is, first off, Michael Bay, surprisingly, was like, if we do this, we have to do it right. It's fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then Marcus Nispel, the director, who I didn't realize, I was just watching there's like an hour and 40-minute behind the scenes thing, which I didn't get through. But apparently everything starts to make sense because he was the fucking director of the Greedy Fly video for Bush.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
he did a lot of music videos, right?
Yeah, I know he did the Friday remake.
He did the Friday remake. He also, but that Greedy Fly video also has the cinematographer from the original fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre because they were friends.
Yeah.
And then he brought him back on to do the remake.
Yeah.
And like,
that cinematographer was the one who convinced him because at first Marcus was like, I'm not doing that. That's sacrilegious, essentially.
And and that's the exact, I think that's the exact reason why it's as good as it is. Because he genuinely was like, I'm not going to do anything to fuck this up. Like, like the I forgot which fucking Jason it was now, but the one that I was like, oh, this one's so good because the guy actually cared about fucking Friday the 13th.
Yeah, the remake.
That's all you got to do is you just hire people that actually care about the shit you're doing.
Yeah. Not hard.
They were really following a trend there in the 2000s when they were making these remakes of just casting.
I'd argue that this was the first one, though.
Oh yeah. Well, 2003. This one,
this kicked
and then
it
the
off,
Halloweens were a couple years later.
Yeah, 2005.
A few years after that. Yeah.
Which is funny that this one kicked it off, but like also it didn't do as well as any of the other ones. So weird that it kicked it off.
No, this one did well. Texas Chainsaw
did well.
Yeah, it had I just looked it up because I was trying to figure out why they wouldn't want to do a sequel because it was a $9.5 million budget and it made over $100 million, which I would say is a success.
Really well.
Yeah.
But I guess that you can't really do a sequel to that if it's like people are going to wonder what Jessica Biel's character did. Like, did she leave and not fucking tell anyone what happened? Did she not send anybody back there? Like, what's he doing without an arm? And they're like, maybe we do a prequel.
And I think that's kind of what makes this such a good set is because like, so you can't watch. I've tried to watch it beginning into the other one and it's not as good for some reason. The beginning has such a fucking bleak ending that you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, but it's such a good set because I just lost the fucking thought.
Well, just to piggyback on that, I feel like you needed a bleak ending because they all have to survive. Right?
Exactly.
They're in the other one, right?
It's just misery.
Every point in that movie, which is again why I love it so much, is because every time you're like, the good guys finally got to level up. Nope. They got a biker now. Nope. He's cut in fucking half.
I got a question about that. So where did you guys watch these? Did you rent them? Do you have them?
I rented it because I wanted to watch the rated version because I figured that's the version that you guys have. However, I have the unrated version on Blu-ray, which is like 6 minutes longer.
Yeah.
And has a couple more scenes, a lot more gore.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But yeah. What were you going to
now
ask?
I gotta watch that.
Oh, I was going to ask if you watched the rated or unrated. And one way to know is from what I read, the biker chick, there's a scene where she puts like a V in her fingers and like flicks her tongue.
Okay.
That's where like I guess some of the unrated stuff starts.
Yeah.
And then you do have a lot more gore and stuff, which I didn't see that. I was like, oh, like that was a version that I would have
remember that.
liked to see.
Yeah, there's another scene where the bikers drive up and kind of attack their Jeep before they run into them at the gas station.
Okay,
So,
cool. I thought that I was missing stuff because I was like, I remember there being a little bit more stuff to this.
Yeah, like they're driving and then the bikers come up behind them and then kind of go around them and they're like hitting their car as they're driving around and scaring them and shit.
Right.
So that way, that scene. That's why whenever you watch the regular version, it kind of is weird that Jordana Brewster's character runs up to the biker and is like, they have your friend, or like there's an acknowledgement that like, yeah, I know you guys. See, I've ran into you more.
But I mean, she did see them together at those two specifically were by themselves.
Yeah, there was something else that she said that I was like, wow, you don't really. That kind of makes more sense whenever you watch the unrated version.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot more gore,
right?
Which is.
Yeah, I remember him getting cut in half, having a lot more to it than the one I saw.
It's
because I remember brutal. Like you fucking see it.
Yeah,
they cut that motherfucker in half.
Yeah. Same thing with. Does the remake have an unrated cut? I want to say it does.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because yes, they did. Because I remember having a DVD box of it that like when you open it up and folded it out, it was a chainsaw.
Yes,
it was dumb.
Yes,
that's sick.
But like the dude, whenever he kills the guy from the ruins, and he's hanging him up from the light fixture, and he's like sawing him up through his stomach.
Yeah,
there's a lot more of that.
Yeah,
a lot more.
Yeah,
and
I was reading
see his intestines like fall out.
Yeah,
and shit.
And what's interesting is that the thing that I read, I was reading something that mentioned that, and it acted like it just didn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
it didn't say anything about a director's cut.
Yeah, that's
well.
weird.
Now I have to find it.
Yeah,
so
that's
I can
awesome.
Watch it. Maybe it'll be a 5-star movie after I see that version.
Yeah, for
exactly. So anyway, 20 minutes in, we have digressed. So Derick, why do you hate the beginning?
Well, first, I'd like to comment on the because we're hopping and skipping around. I like the remake. I think the remake was sick. I like the remake. A couple of complaints I have about it, but I mean, I like it. I enjoy the remake. I thought a lot of the things they added and changed were interesting as opposed to just doing the exact same movie, which, I mean, they did stay true to a number of things.
Yeah. Especially watching this so soon after watching the Nightmare remake.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's a refresher.
I will say I do prefer my Leatherface in lipstick and a dress. Like I just
for sure
prefer that.
For sure.
Just a big ass dude. And this was the point I was trying to make earlier was that was the trend, I feel like, in these remakes in the 2000s. Like they were just casting massive guys, and that's what makes them intimidating and scary as opposed to being just a fucked up dude, which I kind of prefer just being a fucked up dude.
I could totally understand that.
Yeah.
But it's not like his presence on screen takes anything away from, you know, the movie. It is scary, right? Like he's a huge guy, and he could totally fuck you up. Nothing you could do about it.
I want the best of both worlds, where it's a giant, scary dude who is also crazy.
Right.
Noticeable, like wearing makeup. Like
I don't think it would have worked with him.
Not in
with
that
him,
movie.
it wouldn't have worked.
No.
I don't think.
No, it was.
I mean, maybe if the front half he's just like work clothes Leatherface with the apron, and then back half, like I mean, like
business in the front part,
business in the front part in the back,
These movies were too sweaty for that look.
Definitely,
like it was just these movies feel gross. Like I think one of the one of the Letterboxd
thought about how much clothes Leatherface is wearing.
At
all times in this movie, and I got really disgusted.
Yeah, one of the Letterboxd reviews that I wrote down just said, "Don't you love when you can smell a movie?" And I was like,
Yeah. That is. I was just thinking on another side tangent, but yeah, you were like, they just cast these massive dudes, and that's how they're supposed to be intimidating. And I'm like, at least they didn't do that for the Nightmare remake. Because you imagine if Freddy was like,
They did the
he was the janitor at this elementary school,
Yeah.
and he's played by The Rock, and you're just like,
Oh my god!
Yeah.
what a nightmare that would have been. And then House of Wax, that guy
What a
wasn't,
nightmare
like,
that would have been.
crazy.
House of Wax was a good one.
That was a good one, and that
House
guy
of Wax
wasn't
was
like
great.
massive. Like he wasn't built like Reacher, so we're good there.
But I also like, now that I'm really thinking,
God, I want to watch Reacher's fucking Leatherface now.
Right.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, he'd crush it, literally. But also it was like between House of Wax, like they tried to elicit like this sympathetic response to him because of his abuse and all this stuff. And it's almost kind of like when you watch the remake of TCM. I'm not condoning being Leatherface. Anybody?
Whoa.
I'm not saying
Hey,
it's okay to do what
Let's
he
not
did.
jump to conclusions. You
I
might
am.
want to condone being
But-
Leatherface.
Live your life.
Yeah.
But live your life.
But it's almost like I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
Because like, especially that scene where Jessica Biel is like waking up and by the couch and they're fucking with her, and he's and Leatherface is around the corner and he's like all curled up and like kind of going into a panic attack. Like they did a really good job of illustrating what a child man giant really would be. That's like riddled with anxiety and completely just overcome and fucked with panic.
Yeah.
And just, yeah. And then it's
You're
like
just fully manipulated by his crazy family into like being the muscle.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
doesn't realize half of what he's
Who
doing
turns
is
out to
wrong.
not even actually be his fucking family.
yeah, just got out of a dumpster because he wanted a kid, or she wanted a kid.
What a fucking absolutely over the top beginning to a movie. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Ugliest goddamn thing
Jesus
I've ever
fucking
seen.
Christ.
Yeah.
Guess we're gonna give birth on this fucking slaughterhouse floor.
Yeah. So Derek, this was the first time you saw both of these, right?
No, I saw the remake.
Okay.
I watched it for the first time not that long ago. I want to say like maybe 3 years ago. I watched the remake.
Okay, so I don't want to get too off topic. So go ahead into your argument as to why the beginning is the worst movie ever made. Because
I like that it just keeps getting worse.
Yeah. Well, I'll say a complaint I had first in the remake that still is relevant for a complaint in the beginning, which I feel they really failed on making this feel like it's in the 70s. Does not feel like the 70s.
That's
the
fair.
outfits don't look 70s. The hair
See,
don't
I
look 70s. They don't act like it's in the 70s.
Bro,
Jessica Biel for sure is not in the 70s.
Yeah, they're that's super anachronistic. For sure.
You know what's weird?
Even in the beginning when they were showing the walk up to the slaughterhouse, and it's like the fucking like tube metal. I was like, that wouldn't have been there back then in the 30s.
Right.
Yeah.
The jeans that Jessica Biel's wearing, it's like, come on, guys. Like, they weren't wearing that in the 70s. Like, sure, they kind of like flared out like bell bottoms, but they didn't have fucking like, and here we go. She has a little belly shirt like tied up in a knot. Knot never gets undone that whole movie. She still has her untouched, like perfectly tied, her belly button perfectly exposed that whole movie.
Yeah. I'd say that's worth losing half a star for sure. Yeah.
No, I'm not complaining about the not getting untied. I just thought it was a funny thing in that movie, but I definitely didn't feel like it was a 70s.
One of the letterbox comments.
The van is solid though.
Yeah, van's solid.
Yes,
but
van was dope.
One of the comments that I saw on Letterbox was just this, or for the remake was something to the effect of, this is just a story about a woman who just constantly is trying to dry her tank top but fails.
Yeah.
But yeah, van in the beginning, or sorry, in the remake, solid van. I thought
that
they
shot,
had,
dude. Because after she commits suicide,
Dude,
and then the camera that goes, and you see the
go
whole.
there.
Yeah,
holy shit, dude!
Yeah.
It's and also not only that, I didn't notice the first 100 times I watched this. That shot goes from the beginning of the front of the fucking van, all the way back through them, all the way back through her head, and then keeps going back. You see them get out of the fucking van. She goes around and pukes, which means that as the camera came out of the van, she had to stop screaming, put puke in her mouth, put fake puke in her mouth, get out, and then go puke on cue. That is a fucking masterpiece of a scene.
It was an awesome shot. Yeah, it was a great shot.
It's one of the best shots in all of horror.
It's so fucked up.
That shot, and you know what? To go into the beginning, there's a couple of shots that I like a lot. Particularly when he's wearing the boyfriend's face for the first time, that whole reveal, that shot's fucked. That was a great shot.
That's so fucked.
But then I also found myself
in both of them, in the remake and in the beginning, because in the remake, whenever he kills what's her name, and then slowly turns around and is just like blinking through, whatever. And
that's right.
Oof!
I wasn't thinking of I was thinking of the remake with that. He's wearing the boyfriend's face in the remake. That's right.
Yeah. And the ring reveal is a nice little button to make it even more devastating.
Devastating is a perfect word for it. Same thing with. Sorry to cut you off, James. But same thing, like with Jordana Brewster's character being under the table in the beginning as her boyfriend is getting sawed in half.
Isn't there a shot like that in Wrong Turn where there's like blood dripping down?
Yeah, they're trying to hide, but he's like hacking the body up and shit, and the blood's getting on her. But this one is like, I feel so bad.
Yeah, so bad. I will say though, I don't love either of the boyfriend masks. Like they make him look weird. It doesn't look like Leatherface. I mean, I know that's kind of the point, but like they're not Leatherfacey face.
Well, they're fresh.
Well, I think that's why he doesn't keep them on for very long. It's just like a test run. He's like, maybe this will do it. And then he goes out there and he tries it out. Takes a couple kills, cuts some shit up, and he's all like, nah, this isn't it. I gotta go back to Old Faithful.
Kemper, hold on, we gotta talk about the fact that his name's fucking Kemper. That's ridiculous. But fucking, we're just gonna name him after Edmund Kemper. It's cool. But like, this Kemper mask, this Eric Balfour's eyes are just too. I can't get any peripheral out of this guy.
I will say that was one of my notes. Is I wasn't crazy about the Leatherface mask in the remake.
It's a little face looking.
It looks too exactly. I'm like, you had the budget. Yeah, like the one in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre looks fucking scary.
Like skin.
Yeah,
it looks like fucking skin.
And so you've got this budget, and then it's like dark and gritty. Like that's another thing I don't like about it is how much of it takes place at night. And it just looks like
it looks like a leather mask.
You go online and you're like, oh, cool. The Trick or Treat Studios mask looks like the screen used mask because it looks like something they just bought from a costume shop. Yeah, like it doesn't look as handmade and like haphazard. Like it looks molded to his face. Like they genuinely like made it fit too well, I think.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird mask shit, it actually goes back to the boyfriend thing. In the beginning, whenever he's cutting his face off, like there's the final shot where he like peels it off, and you could just see the thickest, clean as fuck edge of whatever the fucking like silicone is, and it's like, okay, guys, come on.
You could have thrown some extra gore on there.
Yeah, something like shaved the edge a little bit so it wasn't like a fucking like half inch thick.
Yeah, it did look a little too clean.
Yeah,
but, What else did you say you had issues with, Josh?
So all right, okay. So
okay.
I'll go down the
list.
It's not a real list. It's just like scattered notes all over the place. But
it's bullet
there's
pointed.
A time lapse that takes.
Don't let him lie to you, Justin. It's bullet pointed.
No.
There was just fucking PowerPoint, didn't you?
There was a few things, and some of the things here might actually have answers to them, and I missed it.
Right.
But anyways. So the town is so dead, you could kill the sheriff, steal his identity, zero repercussions, and you could continue doing this for what I would presume to be years.
Yeah.
Or who knows? I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Right? They don't really disclose that. But at the end of the beginning, what's that?
They did. At the end of the beginning, he says something to the effect of they would go on to commit X amount of murders for X amount of years or whatever.
Okay. So yeah.
I think it ended in 1973 when the remake happens.
Well, yeah, you get your arm cut off. You're gonna stop chainsawing people.
Yeah, that's it. And plus, she killed Hoyt. Sheriff Hoyt. He's done for at the end of the.
Yeah, I mean, she ran him over 3 fucking times.
Like fucking 12 times.
Dude, honestly, so good, so fucking satisfying.
But anyway, they got away with it for what 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, which I guess is also something they don't do in the original. You don't have that payoff in the original. Like she gets away.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess it is a little more. That the payoff.
Honestly, that's pretty fucked too, because there's no resolution for the family in the original. They're just still out there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the same,
which is weird because.
But in the 70s, that worked because they were trying to play that movie. They promoted that movie like it was real. Right. So at the end of it, everybody at the fucking theater's like, "Oh my god, they're still out there."
Yeah. But at the end of the beginning, where you see there's a cop, there's more cops.
Yeah.
And they're unaware that the sheriff got murdered and identity
that is the
stolen.
Last cop in the radius, brother.
Yeah. And there's a fucking family of cannibals nearby that he's completely unaware of.
That's that cop was pulling somebody over outside of his jurisdiction. That's a deleted scene that you didn't see. It's in the director's cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why they didn't realize he got taken out when he was.
So if you look at so let's say that I gotta face it. So let's say that this is Let's say that this is where the family is. So this is where that Oh, okay, never mind. So he started over here, went straight through it. Fuck you guys! You try to fucking figure this shit out.
Did you direct this movie, dude? Did you write the beginning? Did you?
Yes. This is the moment you've all waited for. I'd like to announce I actually wrote the beginning.
Yeah.
I am Michael Bay.
I am Michael Bay.
Right. Well, actually, the beginning was written by Sheldon Turner, who also wrote Adam Sandler's Longest Yard.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I can see it. You can see that. You can see the
Which is
overlap
also
pretty well.
not that great.
Oh, that's true. That's accurate. That's accurate. I will say it's better than Burt Reynolds, where he starts the movie fucking punching a chick to go to jail.
Did not know that.
It's very Burt Reynolds.
Yeah,
it's very 70s.
Very
Burt
70s Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
So what else did you despise about this movie?
And this is something more that I was confused by. I don't know if this is accounted for somewhere. I just took a note of it. In the beginning, the slaughterhouse or meat processing plant is called Lee Bros Meats. But in the remake, it's called Blair's.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And I was why the name change? It went out of business in the prequel. And then, so what happened with the name? Why is it changed and out of business? And then also, it made me think back in the remake. Why was there meat in that one?
That was the first time
out of business.
Out of business. This was the first time that I've watched this. Where out of all the times that I've watched the remake, and I was like, wait a minute, why are there animals in here?
There's a bunch of meat.
I think that
you can't explain it, James. Don't do it.
No, I think I can. I think I fucking can. I think I actually fucking can. I think that the family was ripping off truckers, and they every now and then they'd get a fucking load of animals, and then they would fucking sell the meat off and shit.
Maybe
because they still butcher.
Do they?
I mean, he's Leatherface. He gonna butcher.
Well, yeah, people, yeah.
But I mean, but again, he can't tell the difference. So maybe they're just cut this up, we'll sell it. Maybe they don't eat it. Maybe they only eat people.
Maybe.
Also, it's weird because somebody pointed out the fact that at no point in the original, not in the original, in the remake, do they actually eat people?
No, that's only
the
remake.
No cannibalism in the remake.
Yeah. There's no, and that I felt like that was one thing that was missing was a dinner scene. All these movies have a dinner scene. They're at the table, and it's always a fucked up scene.
Yeah, Nispel purposely was I don't want to do it because how do you do it?
Gotcha.
I think they were trying to appeal to a mass audience too, right?
Now, with the beginning, the speech that Arlie gives at the dinner table is I think my second favorite scene in the entire franchise. It's just the music, how it's building and how the music keeps ramping up over the montage of different scenes building up to that. It feels so fucking evil.
And him be like the line fucking like, what we say here tonight may not be remembered, but what we do will go down in history. That's such a fucking like, ooh,
it feels
that's
like
fucking
he's
Dune shit.
Yeah, it feels like he's giving like a sermon.
Yeah.
Because he's so fucking crazy that he's so narcissistic and so fucking nuts that he's fighting a war in his own little world.
My biggest inconsistency is in beginning. So in beginning he gets the cop outfit.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 70s. You can't just go get another cop out from Amazon or some shit.
No.
So in the remake they show that like she's sewing up the outfit and shit, which implies that it's the same one. However, in beginning that fucking thing is covered in blood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't get that out.
Yeah. Very true. Although, like that, I did have a note where in that scene
back then.
No, in that scene where she was ironing or sewing his pants, the juxtaposition between kidnap and torture, and then here's your pants, you're all good to go.
Yeah.
Also, his mom is like doing his laundry still.
Right.
I took that note as well. In both movies, she's ironing his pants. Like he really needs no wrinkles in his pants.
Yeah.
He's a complete fucking psychopath.
So here's a question: is that his mom?
No, that's the wife.
So that's the wife.
That's the chick.
We're getting into another complaint that I have. I have no idea who any of these fucking people are. There's no consistency from movie to movie with the families. The families are always completely different.
No, there's
who's the guy in the wheelchair? Is he supposed to be a grandfather of some?
No. The guy in the wheelchair is the tow truck driver. Yeah, he's the tow truck driver in the. He's like he's not their version of the hitchhiker, but like he's that same role in the family,
right?
I think,
but are any of them related? And I don't even know if I need to know that, but it just feels like they keep saying they're family. Like I feel like I should know that.
Definitely Arlie Ermey and the old lady with the glasses who was ironing. They're
married.
Their husbands
are married
together.
Yeah, they're a couple.
Together.
Yeah,
they bring home Leatherface.
They bring
and
home
raise him as their own.
Right. Yes.
I feel like Monty is hinted at being
it's his brother.
His brother.
That's what I'm thinking.
So he's like their version of Nubbins.
Yeah.
And that's why when Monty shows up and sees the people tied up, he's like, I don't really get into his affairs. Like I'm the tow truck driver. Like this is what I do for the family. Whatever he does is on him.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And then the big lady's in both of them.
Yeah. I think she's just a neighbor.
Maybe.
That's the feeling I get. Yeah.
But then
her friend who has no eyebrows.
None.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah, that scene. It's like, dude, never like Creep-O-Rama pro tip. Never take a drink anyone gives you in rural Texas.
No,
don't do it.
Absolutely.
Don't do it. Just don't.
Don't even go to rural Texas.
Don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
best to just avoid the area entirely. But definitely don't eat or drink anything there.
I know you'll do it, dude, but I'll be there.
I'll do it, brother.
You.
Let's go to Texas together.
Let's go drink stuff at people's trailers.
It's just me and Derick going up to random fucking like shacks and banging on the door. You got anything to drink? Anything weird? You got some weird shit to drink?
Well, I do, but it's just sweet tea, and I don't know what he just came in and he just wanted all the sweet tea. I don't know what happened, Harold.
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah. I think one of my notes is, why is the meatpacking company still full when it went out of business?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not only that, she runs out. She's getting chased in the beginning.
Yeah.
Runs out. Fucking dope ass pristine Cadillac just chilling outside of a shut down slaughterhouse. And the keys are in it. What are we doing? Why is that there? Whose Cadillac is that?
That's fucking fair.
It's the owner, right?
Oh, it's the owners. You know what?
The guy
Yeah.
the guy who got beat to death with a hammer at the beginning of the movie.
Is that what it is? Okay.
That
Okay,
whole
it was the
movie
owners.
the whole beginning
Okay.
only takes place over like one night.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'll
Fair.
cross that out in my notes.
Yeah.
You're going to go ahead and adjust your letterbox score now?
there was
32 more.
The Cadillac has an answer.
Yeah.
And I missed it.
There was other people on Letterboxd. They were saying he's in the back of the car. How do you fucking get in the back of the car, bro? And
they do show it.
I watched it with that in mind when that scene happened, and you see Leather go down the stairs and watch
I
what
love how
she's
you call
doing.
him Leather.
Yeah.
I mean,
And,
first name basis.
First name. Yeah, we're good.
We're homies.
He watches what she's doing, and he's like, "Oh, she's gonna get out," and then he just,
They specifically have a shot where he's looking through the stairs or something and sees the Cadillac.
Yeah.
And,
So,
then,
like-
and then goes the other way.
Yeah.
The only thing,
Yeah.
and I get why it's like, there's not really a better way to do the sequence because they're trying not to give it away.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, totally get it.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be the big reveal.
Right.
So they can't.
Yeah.
We're
And it
supposed
sucks
to know
because
he's
lead it up.
it
back
does
there.
need a little bit more connecting tissue to show
I
him.
missed that as well. I didn't.
Yeah.
I literally, because I was watching it and I looked down for half a second and she was getting chainsawed and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta run it back because did they show that? And yeah, the same thing Justin just said, like they do show it. It's just they had the.
Well, I think that's one of those things where you weren't thinking of that in the moment, and then when you see it
absolutely.
happen, you're like, "Oh shit! I wish I could rewind and double check."
Yeah.
Because
But
I
you
know when
can't
we
in the
saw it in theaters,
and
we
a lot
were
of
like,
these people aren't going to watch it a second
"Holy-"
time, so they're
Yeah.
just like, "How the fuck did you end up in the back seat?" And it was like, "You're going to have to rewatch the whole movie, and you'll pick up
Right.
on it."
Yeah.
Which is what I love
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
shit like this, because you finding those things that you missed the first time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I also feel like I don't need an origin story to why he's wearing people's faces. Like I don't need him to be disfigured.
See,
You don't
I just
need
want
it.
him to be
Wanted one.
fucked up.
But hold on, you don't need an origin story as to why he's wearing other people's skin, but you appreciate that you got one. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
They're giving you things that you don't know you need.
Yeah.
I like it because it's like it makes more sense than just okay. And this is gonna get too serious, but thinking about all the fucking serial killer psychology that we've kind of like looked into and shit, it makes more sense that he would be deformed in some way, and that's why he became the way that he is as a reaction to it. So in the like otherwise it's just like he was why were they fucking with him for his face? Like why is he self-conscious about his face?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
But is that
normal.
ever implied in the first one?
No,
No.
Right.
but that's
what I'm
but, I
saying.
mean
Well, no, yes it is. Yes it is because
is it?
whenever
Is it?
whenever Arlie has that scene I
No,
was
no, the
talking about
first
a
one I
minute
mean
ago.
in the 70s.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the original. Okay, gotcha.
Like he's just a guy wearing people's faces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah. I don't
no-
think
yeah.
it does. Yeah. So
Right.
but you know what? When that's another like through line of what they kind of tried to do with these 2000 remakes and sequels and stuff is try to put a realistic understanding of why these slasher characters are the way they are. But I think these two movies did it better than any of the other ones. Like I like Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, but we've already talked about it. But like I understand why when you compared that storytelling to Carpenter's vision of the original, it doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
yeah.
Because he's not
Right.
supposed to be human. That's
Yeah.
the whole fucking point. He's a personification of fucking evil. He's not
That's
human.
kind of how I feel about Leatherface, though.
No.
But I've never felt
Yeah,
that
I've
way
never
about
felt that
him.
way. He's just a dude. That's why I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre so much because it makes the most sense. Like
Yeah.
we've all been through Texas. Like
Yeah, it's fucking
yeah,
sketch.
100%. It's the least non-believable thing that could happen in Texas. So
I bet you it's happened.
I bet you it's
I
happened.
bet you
Yeah,
it's happened.
100%. But yeah, I think that's why the remake and beginning works so well for me, is because it's taking what the first one set and then going, okay, let's expand on every single one of these. We have to change this and change that so that the movie's still good to watch. But it's still like, why is this? Why is it? Even in the I fucking hate that it's called The Beginning.
Right.
Just for this conversation.
In the beginning of the beginning?
Yeah. At the end of the beginning, that really killed me earlier. But in the first remake, it's like, oh, what's all the different reasonings as to why this could happen? And obviously it goes into it even more in the beginning, but just I like the world building. I like I like details. Details are really important, especially like it was the 70s, so like people weren't paying attention that much. But if you look at In a Violent Nature right now, like it's out, and I haven't watched it yet. Justin, I know you did, but without having watched it, I can see that people don't have the attention span that they did back in the 70s. So if you put a movie like that in front of a lot of people now, they're gonna have issues with it just because it's too slow. It's not doing all the things that they want to do.
100%.
And I kind of wonder, how does Texas Chainsaw still hold up? Like, do the younger generations, if they watch Texas Chainsaw, is it scary?
Yeah.
But
not like I don't have to talk to them, so
yeah. It's
that's good. That's good. Complete and total disconnection from the youth. Yeah. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
But no, it's I mean, you could anything from that era, and then you take like Gen Z or whatever the younger kids are, younger than Gen Z. Like I can't imagine it holds up to them. Like for us growing up, I think there was way less media, so it was easy to start digging into the past. It was easy to hey,
it was more difficult in some ways, but there was less stuff in general. So.
Right. Yeah, the amount of stuff that's come out in the last 5 years is way more than shit that came out from like 2010 and before, ever.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. We were also not that far removed. I mean, 93 to 95, when I started watching all this stuff, it was only
there weren't cell phones,
20
there
years
wasn't the internet,
before
there
that.
wasn't any of that other shit to even take away from any aspect of it. So the only difference was the cars got better mileage, really. There were more phones. There were more phones, but that was about it.
And when I was going through the Letterboxd reviews for the remake, it was so weird to read so many people saying that, I love this movie because this was the first horror movie that I watched, or I was 6 years old and I saw this the first time and it fucked me up. And everybody was having the same reaction to so many people had the same reaction to the remake that I had to like Halloween 4, or like you James had to Nightmare, or like those things. And I was like, that's really cool that that's still going and still happening. But the way they were also going into detail over this being their favorite one, probably because it's the first one that they saw, but it almost did feel like they championed this one over the original.
Yeah.
And so,
I
the
can
hipster
see
douchebag in me just can't deal with that. It's like, no, man.
No,
I can't.
I'm the same way, but I know people that are around our age who are like critics that I appreciate and respect, who place the remake over the original, because they're like, I get why
and none of them scored it 2.5 stars, Derick.
I didn't either.
No, the people I'm thinking of scored the remake like 5 stars, and they're like, this takes the original and just amps it up to 11. It touches on everything. One of them pointed out that it does a good job of not being as gory as you think it is, because it's just the suicide in the van, and then that's pretty much it as far as like brutal gore in the remake. A lot of it is off screen or hinted at, and not as bad
original
as you anticipated, like in the original.
Plus, it definitely helps that the whole movie, both of these movies, are fucking gross looking. Like,
Yeah.
Like you can smell it, you can feel the sweat, you can like why
It is
why
Texas.
is his basement flooded?
That's my thing. I
it's
have a
weird.
note that says, "Why the fuck is his basement so wet?"
Also,
Just sweat.
That house would collapse.
Well, yeah, 100%. First off, house would absolutely collapse. Second off, there's no way if he spends all day in that fucking water, there's no way that he could run that fucking fast. He'd have fucking double trench foot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I also do want to say I know nothing about architecture, so I'm not sure if it would collapse.
Yeah.
But it feels like it would.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
This feels like a
Here's a-
hazard. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole movie feels like one big fucking hazard.
This is all an OSHA violation.
Yeah.
We're almost an hour in, and we haven't mentioned the fucking kid. Who's the kid in the first one? Who is this kid with the really bad fake teeth?
Yeah.
Well, he calls
Calls
her
her mama.
grandma.
Grandma.
So
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's just another kid that they stole,
Probably.
because they
Is he a good
obviously
kid?
have. Yeah. I mean,
He means well.
he
Seems like
doesn't
he
want
is,
her
but
to
I
get
can't
hurt.
tell.
Yeah, he hasn't been
Yeah.
corrupted yet.
He helps them get loose.
Yeah. You're not
Yeah.
born evil. It's
So-
not.
And also apparently there was a scene that they took out that maybe they didn't even film it, I don't know, but there was originally supposed to be a scene where Leatherface fucking chainsaws him in the back
Yeah,
because
The
he
kid?
for letting her go.
yeah, the fucking
Oh,
kid.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but they took it
because
out.
I felt like there was stuff missing because he just seemed like not necessary.
Yeah,
Like there
even-
must be things that they took out that
Yeah.
made him maybe more of a relevant character.
Or
in the
it
movie.
could have
See,
been it could have been a situation where they were like, okay, how do we we can get them into this situation because of the suicide and all
How do
that
we
stuff.
get
Like
them
that's
out?
how we
Yeah.
get to the how do we get them out of it, because now they're completely fucked.
Yeah,
Have a kid?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I'm used to watching the unrated version, and I will say the ending is cut to fucking shit. Like the
Really?
whole last end sequence.
This
of
is the
her-
remake you're talking about.
Yeah, the remake.
Yeah,
Of her getting in his cop car, running him over. There's a scene where she gets out of the 18-wheeler, and as Hoyt is going around the front of it, she runs inside and steals the baby. So
Right.
there's it shows that, it bridges that gap, because obviously in the regular cut, it's just, she's driving away and looks over, and then, oh, there's a baby.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
I in the one that I saw her go, maybe I watched the unrated for the first one and the rated for the beginning.
Probably. But yeah, it is very choppy at the end.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So there definitely is some things that probably could have gone in, but I think that they cut that just to have that reveal of, oh, cool, she
Right.
rescued the baby, even
right.
even through all of it.
Well, so I'm not talking about. Okay, well, never mind. That was different. The baby
Yeah.
was the baby
Yeah,
was
that was a
the
different baby.
of the girl that committed suicide,
Right.
right?
yeah.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
this is the first time that I really put it together that they took a family.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a whole
That's
fucking
fucked up.
family.
A whole
Yeah.
fucking family. That's
Also,
fucked.
I never really put two and two together, because, and it's so, looking back, it's kind of smart of them to do this, because you go into a TCM remake and Leatherface is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Everybody has
Right.
this understanding that, oh, the bad guy, the villain, main villain, it's Leatherface. So whenever the hitchhiker says, I wrote it down. So, said, he's a bad man, she's talking about Hoyt,
Boy,
Yeah.
the sheriff.
Yeah,
And then in which I don't know why I never really put two and two together, because like he picks up his gun and puts the gun back into the holster.
Fucking
Yeah.
same thing. I have a note that was like, I never like I've seen him do it before.
Yeah.
But it never clicked. I always thought that he was just a shitty cop stealing a free gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, he's putting it in his holster, which undeniably means that that was his gun.
Yeah.
She got
Right.
that gun from him.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's the bad man.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how they I think one of the other another Letterboxd review was this guy that just said how these movies make Leatherface the only likable character is truly beyond me.
yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. It is true.
Yeah.
I really want to see the scene of how did she get the gun?
Yeah.
Out of his hanky holster.
That would have been dope.
That would have been the cool prequel.
Yeah,
because that would
Honestly,
really.
I was thinking about this
be
just
Texas
now.
Chainsaw
I
Massacre
would
in the
love.
middle.
Yeah. The mequel.
Yeah.
It's entirely done by Jimmy World. I was thinking about it while we were just talking, and I would love to see the family meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre. However, they're never going to do it because everybody's just going to be like, "That's Hills Have Eyes."
Yeah,
I can see that.
Like, God damn it.
Right.
Yeah.
I
What do you
really
guys-
feel like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie should be in 16 millimeter.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I want the grit. You know,
Yeah.
like, and these were shot very well, and they looked very good.
Yeah.
I wanted it to look shittier.
Yeah, I can totally understand that.
I think I've watched these so much that doesn't bother me anymore.
I didn't
like,
necessarily.
I think it has like. I think for the time period, they have that era's grittiness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same.
Yeah, and they're not going to put out a fucking 16 millimeter in
That's
2003.
the other thing.
No, definitely not.
No.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, with Jessica Biel, and it's just not.
Oh my god, Jessica Biel in 16 millimeter would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I'd tune in.
One thing I noted, one thing I thought was a funny note was when they first get to the house in the remake, and what's his face is in the wheelchair, double amputee, and he has a cane.
To help him get around, man.
It's like a paddle.
Come on, guys. He's in a wheelchair. He can get around with his hands. He doesn't need a cane to get around. He's got no legs.
That's how he
It's a
signals
flapping cane.
Leatherface.
But
That
I will
cane-
say, he is
that cane is
signaling it.
specific. Yes. And
Yes,
that's
yeah.
also his cane for whapping.
Yeah,
You got to whack.
that's his whapping
Yeah.
cane.
Sometimes you gotta whack stuff.
Yeah,
It's a switch.
Yeah.
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 But I can understand, like, sometimes you just gotta reach. It's you're
Yeah.
It's the 70s. They didn't have
Yeah.
those long metal
Yeah.
Grabber arms.
making
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
of disabled
He got the
people, which
cane
is
as like
exactly
a-
the kind of attitude that I would expect out of somebody who rated this movie 2.5 stars. God, gotta kick some people when they're down, Derick.
Yeah.
I did like that they brought in John Larroquette to narrate the end
Yes.
of the prequel.
So cool.
Yes.
Since he narrated
I
the beginning of
was-
the original, that was
yeah.
clever. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy, for some reason, like that guy's, I mean, I know it's because he was in the original, but even despite the fact that he's in the original, I'm not saying what I'm about to say because he's in the original. His voice sets the fucking tone for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then wraps it all up. It's the dude's voice has has this really weird connection to the vibe of that movie that is just strange.
Yeah. It's just
It like makes it.
Yeah.
the perfect voice for that intro.
So good.
Yeah. So, okay. So Derick, I'll let you off the hook for now. I'm still never going to get over the fact that you scored part 3 2 stars and this one 2.5.
Wait, is this where we switched and you go good cop and I go
But-
bad cop?
Well, but I was going to then turn to Josh because I mean, at least you gave it 3.5 stars. So, I mean, I guess you like the beginning a little bit more than
I liked the
Derick.
beginning a lot. I think I liked the beginning more than the remake this time around. I had never seen the
Okay.
beginning.
see Derick.
He's saying the right word so far.
I had never seen the beginning at all, so I just like get ready. Or I think maybe I watched it when it first came out on DVD, but I feel like it was something I rented working at Blockbuster, brought it to
Yeah.
my friend's place, and we just drank cheap beer and smoked cigarettes and didn't pay attention to the movie that was on. Or
Yeah.
like I completely checked out in the first 5 minutes because I was like, oh, Leatherface is a gainfully employed slaughterhouse like guy who's got a job and the slaughterhouse shuts down. And he's like, well, then I guess I'll just become a psycho killer. Like, that's weird. But having paid attention to it this time, I was like, this was a lot of fun. And I think what's funny is one of the reviews I read was like, I don't understand the point of this movie. We didn't need to know any of this. And when it's a prequel, you already kind of know how it's going to end. And I'm like, that's a lot of movies. There's no point. It's just entertainment,
Right.
which is all I wanted going into this.
Arguably all movies.
Yeah, like literally no movie serves that much of a purpose. Like I hope the same review is on Killer Clowns from Outer Space and the thing. Like, what's the point?
Right.
What's this politically?
This is ridiculous. How do these clowns get to here from outer space?
But
a spaceship.
Yeah, I would say I still like the remake a lot. It's not when I first saw the remake in theaters, I fucking hated it, and that was because I was like the elitist. Just like you can't remake perfection. Like this was no point.
Yeah,
and I still prefer the original because of how unique it was. I love the look of Leatherface in the original more. I love how much it takes place during the day, and it's still terrifying.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Because beginning is a lot more during the day.
Yeah.
And I think it works pretty fucking
and
well.
It takes a lot to make that kind of scene still scary in the daytime. A lot of movies just rely on nighttime where it's like, oh, it's what you can't see. And I'm like, no, you can fucking see everything and it's still haunting.
Yeah. It wouldn't be Texas without brutal sunlight.
Yeah.
It sets the tone.
The Jessica Biel was not in the cab that we were looking out the whole time, like misdirect at the end. Probably one of the first times I've seen this, but having seen it so many fucking times since is almost annoying now, where they're like, oh, he's about to open the door and he's about to catch her. Oh, psych, she was never even in there.
Gotcha.
I'm like, well, then whose fucking POV are we looking through right now? Like,
I did think that they did a pretty good job on that one.
They did it very well, and that's why I mean, like, because this was probably one of the first times I had seen that trope when I first saw the movie, but I hated the movie already, so I decided that nothing was good about it. And now I've seen that trope done like 100 times. So when I go back and see it done the first time, I'm like, okay, I can appreciate it here, but it still annoys me. Also, I don't like Harry Knowles is a piece of shit, and I hate that he has a cameo in this movie.
Oh, I forgot about.
I do like that. At least it's a severed head of him.
Like at least he's dead.
But still, fuck him.
But every time that happens,
I wonder why that even happened.
Because he was just so ingrained into the fucking film culture.
Yeah,
back then
he was
like he fucking knew everyone.
Yeah, he had so many connections, and he would give what was it? He's the one that gave Godzilla like 4.5 out of 5 stars, the '98 remake. And everyone was like, "Why the fuck did you love this movie?" And they're like, "Oh, because he got flown to the premiere and spoiled." And they're like, "This isn't like you've completely lost your credibility as a journalist." But he was just known for sucking up to studios. And
now
all
that's
those
like
connections.
Everything.
Yeah. And then you found out that he was a monster behind the scenes.
Yeah, right.
But it's just like seeing Trump in Home Alone 2. I'm like, this fucking sucks. Like this movie's so good. And then that one frame, I'm like, you're fucking.
And you know what? I feel like we could just cut both of those scenes out.
Yeah.
And
that'll serve
just excise the frame right there. You're good. Give me that edit.
Didn't Disney do that?
No. I don't think so.
On Disney Plus? I thought there was talks of them doing that.
Yeah. The only time I'd be like, use AI. Just use AI. Replace him with literally anyone. Put me in the movie. But so yeah, Harry Knowles cameo sucks. But R. Lee Ermey being super gross and creepy, and you don't know why because you haven't seen the beginning yet in the remake. I'm just that was where I was like, fuck, I forget that he's all like, oh, I gotta deal with these bodies sometimes, but I'll cop a feel while I'm at it. I'm like, ugh, like
you know. One of my notes was that the minute he groped the body, I'd be like, okay, this guy is not a cop.
Yeah.
I'm killing him right now and getting the fuck out.
And that's the thing is whenever he's putting the gun away, there is a shot where one of them looks at the other one or has a look on his face like, yo, that's your gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's nothing ever comes of it.
There. Yeah. But then you wouldn't have, you wouldn't have a movie. But like, I always, again, like you guys know, like every time I watch these movies, I'm like, okay, how would I handle the situation? Like, what would you do? And it's like, you kill everybody.
Yeah. That's the only solution.
If I'm,
or you chop off Leatherface's arm and run over Hoyt a few times.
Yeah. But like, if I'm ever in a real life horror situation, I hope it escalates to the extreme. So that way, if like actual cops get involved, I can claim self-defense and be okay because I'll kill.
Let's talk about that for a second.
I'm fucking getting out of
the end of this movie is Jessica Biel driving. Is she in a Cadillac or is she in?
She's in a
cop car. She's in a cop car.
Yeah, the car.
Yeah. So she runs him over and just drives to the next cops and is like, "Hey, don't mind this stolen cop car I clearly have. What I'm going to tell you is insane. I ran over a cop several times." This baby I took from them.
Yeah.
But I can explain. I'm the
And
good
then the
person
cops are
here.
like,
All makes
"Oh,
sense.
we should definitely send people to the thing to check this out." Like,
Well, no, they'd run the numbers on the car and be like, "Oh, that's Hoyt's car. We haven't heard from him in years." Like,
I thought he moved to Michigan.
He said he was moving to Michigan. What happened there?
Yeah.
Let's go check the body. Oh, he's unrecognizable. Must be him.
Oh, and you know what? They'd probably show her a picture of Hoyt and be like, "Was this him?" And then she'd be like, "No."
Yeah.
He doesn't have nearly that much mustache.
But I did, I think I liked the beginning more for just entertainment purposes. And it's mainly because I love Arlie Ermey so much. And it's so weird because having seen anything he's been in before these Texas Chainsaw movies, you're like upstanding, blue collar, like conservative old man who is like does these serious movies and takes things very seriously. And I just like to imagine him reading the script and being like, hell yeah, I'll be a fucking twisted, sick son of a bitch for a few hours. And I'm like,
he improvised a lot of that, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
And you could tell he was just having a great fucking time being really sick and
he was,
weird.
Dude, it's so weird to see that, because like sometimes you see actors and you're like, man, he would be perfect for that role or that kind of role or that kind of role. And they never happens. But like, then you see stuff like this in Full Metal Jacket and it's like, that dude was made for those two roles.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody could have embodied either of those two roles better than that guy.
Yeah.
No.
Well, to
like,
go
not
back
even
to
close.
Saving Silverman, as Josh mentioned, he's fucking awesome in that.
Well,
too.
and what's funny is he wasn't supposed to be in Full Metal Jacket. He was just on set as a consultant. And Kubrick was like, "Can you just play the role?" And he, "Oh, sure."
Yeah.
Like he
Like,
never intended.
we don't
to be an
need you to
actor.
consult. You could just be.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's also in. Because I was looking it up. I was like, "Was there any other comedies he was in?" Have you guys seen Run Ronnie Run?
Yeah,
I know that cover.
Yeah,
but I've never. I've never watched
David
it.
Cross.
That's your homework.
Yeah.
I picked it up because David Cross was on the cover, and I was like, "Let's check it out and see what it is." That movie has more like cameos per minute than I think any movie I've ever seen. Very R-rated, and Arlie Ermey is in it for a bit, and it's very good. So definitely check that one out.
I had a buddy recommend that to me in high school, and I was like, "What the fuck is this movie?" And
Yeah.
just got it on DVD in like the $5 bin at Walmart.
It's so I had no idea what it was going in. It was when I was working at Blockbuster. I just saw it on the wall, and I was like, "I'm gonna bring this over to my friend's house to see what it's all about." I had never even heard of it, and so fucking funny. But yeah, I enjoyed the beginning.
Real quick about Hoyt's character is I love the fact that weed is like that's what crosses his line.
Yeah.
Like whenever he comes up to the van and he pulls the joint and he's like, what the fuck is it? What the fuck do we got here? You all using drugs? And then it escalates from there. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Like that's what you have a problem with?
Well, and
the
draft
draft
dodging.
card that's like a little burnt.
But
like, there's no fire in this wreck. It's like,
well, that's smart. That's smart. There wasn't.
He's a police officer, Derick.
Yeah. He's doing a good job playing the part.
He's doing the work.
But with the draft card, I understand it more because of the story that they wrote for him of being a vet, and went through Korea, as a POW and stuff. So like that adds a considerable amount to it. But I
do wonder if any of that's real.
I think so. I totally think so.
What
makes sense?
He did steal the identity of a police officer, though.
Yeah, but I'm sure
but to steal
eating
two identities in one lifetime. I mean, that's
a lot.
Yeah, no one would do it twice. No one would do it twice. That's true.
Taking it too far.
Now this movie's unrealistic.
One thing I noticed at the beginning did not have was Leatherface sawing through a door.
Good point.
Because the first one, I think on all of these, he's got to run through the front door.
It did. You know what? It did have a final girl jumping through a window and being chased by Leatherface.
They brought that back.
Yeah.
It did.
There was also a bear trap.
They brought that back.
So this does go to the bear trap list I'm gonna make.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that Leatherface had leveled up to being able to do that move yet.
Yeah. He wasn't.
That unlocks after the credits.
Yeah, I think so.
Or they were trying to figure out, like, because the door was in one piece in the remake
that's a
before
good
he
fucking
saw
point,
through
yeah.
it, and they were like, we can't have him saw through it once because then we'll have to cover how they replaced the door before the remake.
Yeah.
After so what happens
loose
is
ends.
Budget for doors is outrageous.
Chainsaw goes to her back. They crash into the cop scene at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Credits roll, and then it comes back in with the stinger of Arlie Ermey hanging a new door.
Yes.
See that?
Damn it, Tommy.
Derek would have given that 5 stars.
Yeah,
5 stars.
Covered it.
100%.
Yeah.
One thing we have not discussed is the house.
Yes,
love it.
Yeah.
Holy
So
fuck!
good.
That's a massive upgrade from the
Despite
original.
being
It's a big
foundationally
upgrade.
very unstable.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
But that is a massive fucking upgrade from the original.
For a
movie.
family that appears to not be employed and hasn't been for a very
Not at
long
all.
time.
Well, Derek, god
But-
damn it,
yeah.
it's an old plantation
Leatherface
house.
was- yeah.
You know, it's.
I don't
it's-
think it's their house. I think that they like squat at it.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or they just showed up and
Probably.
killed the
If it was-
family
If
that
it was
in
theirs, they'd
and
have some
there's nobody
pride.
else around
There'd
to
be some
notice.
paint.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, that house.
Well, no, because he
I
was
think
saying
that.
Arlie was saying that we don't abandon where we're like they,
Yeah, where
he
we're
was
from.
making it sound like
So-
they were born and
Yeah,
raised
for
in
sure.
that house. So maybe
Yeah.
they inherited
You know,
it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe
But,
they're just terrible housekeepers.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
They're paying property taxes at least, right? They gotta.
They gotta.
And this
That's
brings
why
us
they're
back-
selling the
Yeah.
meat, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's why
See,
there's
bringing it
meat.
back.
Yeah, maybe. See, Derek, 5 stars.
Yeah.
5
Well,
stars.
they're working.
God.
Derek,
They
5
are
stars for
affiliated with the
property
gas
taxes
station,
for
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
affiliate- yeah,
well,
yeah,
they,
yeah. So
yeah,
they do
that's
work
right. They
there.
run. That's
The
right.
mom's
They're
working
running.
there.
They got the meat. They're still using the meat
Yup.
in
There it is.
the abandoned
We're putting it all
factory to
together.
put the meat in the little gas station to sell.
Yeah,
They're
and
not
then you let
selling
it-
meat out of
they-
that gas station. There's all.
Well, they are, but
rotten
they-
meat,
it's all
flies,
rotten.
No,
and
that's-
they're just
that's
trying to get
patina.
people to lure
It's
in
just-
and to eat people.
It is
all
just
they're
meat
doing.
patina.
Yeah, but they can't keep. Okay, I know it's rotted, but they can't keep. You know, they got to change it out
dry
at some
aged.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's wet age. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's got to be that to me that's the best house in horror anything.
It's a dope house.
It is a
It's
good
fucking
house.
like dude.
I'd say
it is,
it's between that one and Psycho.
Oh yeah. That
Yeah.
one and that one is just iconic and
And they're really
it's got a
like,
vibe.
pretty
You
close.
never
to the
really
same
see the
house.
Yeah.
inside though.
But
Psycho.
the shots in the remake of the house being backlit and like the clouds going over it,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
it's got
So
such
fucking good.
fucking creepy
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
sick. Why did they change the name? Why is it
What do you mean?
Hewitt now? Which I
Yeah.
thought
What was it in the original?
Sawyer.
Sawyer.
Yeah. Which
Yeah, I don't know.
doesn't
Yeah, I've
seem
never understood. I kind of like
changeable.
Hewitt more for some reason.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's
Well, it was Sawyer, and then it turned into Slaughter at one
Slaughter.
point. Yeah, which
Slaughter,
That's
right.
a little on the nose. I understand changing that back,
Yeah.
but Sawyer's not. Like as I was watching, it was like, did they think because it had the word "saw" in it, they're like that's a little too like cheeky.
Fuck, that's 100% why they're called the Sawyers.
Because if you did a
Probably.
modern Frankenstein movie, you'd probably have to change the doctor's name because Frankenstein is not something you're going to see in like a modern remake.
Right.
But Sawyer's a normal name. Like, just why couldn't he still be Bubba Sawyer? But they're like, no, it's Thomas Hewitt. And I
This is a
forget what his
weird
name is in
explanation they
Leatherface.
have.
Did they give him another name in that one too? I can't remember. I guess we'll find out when I,
don't think
watch
they
it.
even
I don't
say
think-
his
I don't
last
want
name.
to.
No, I don't. Ugh.
but I feel like the family is completely different from the original movie, and maybe that was just enough inspiration to let's just change the name.
Yeah.
This is a different family. It's not the same
I-
family.
Okay,
I think so.
I get that.
So, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Full
That was
reboot,
kind
got
of
to cover all the bases.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is
Because then it
still
turns
Michael
into
Myers
Scream where it's all the,
in all
it's
the
still the
fucking
same
Halloween
family.
movies.
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees' name doesn't change. Fred Krueger is still
Yeah.
Fred Krueger.
Yeah, but Leatherface's name doesn't change. Do they actually call him Leatherface? In
it's
either
so
of these
far. It's
movies?
only in the second movie they call him Leatherface.
Yeah, they actually
When's
call
only
him
been in the
Leatherface
second.
in that one.
And the
remember what
third,
scene?
I think it's Junior. They call
Yep.
him.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no, I'm
Junior.
sorry. I mean in the remake or the beginning.
No, they just call him like Boy and
Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy,
Yeah.
yeah.
because he's Tommy
They
Hewitt.
call him Tommy?
And my nephew.
Did you call him Tommy?
Oh yeah, this is what the Who wrote that whole movie about.
Yeah. Well, and then the cop calls him the R word, which is what I'm like, okay, we can kill this guy. We can kill this guy right now. That's cool.
That guy could die now.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, why would you say that to his own dad? Like, you didn't raise that thing well. I'm like, oh, you're
well, dude,
it's 1973.
Yeah, no, I know the timing, but I'm just like,
that's
you say that to me about my own kid, I'm going to be like, all right, I'm probably just going to shoot you now and go ahead and call it a day.
Not in the 70s, dude. In the 70s,
actually,
like, yeah, you're right. Like, I did a bad job. Like,
yeah.
Wait a minute. I was surprised that whenever the slaughterhouse guy, the owner, has the other dude go like tell him to fucking
get him out of here.
That dude did not kill him immediately.
Oh, yeah.
like bro, you called him an animal and Leatherface let you go. You need to tell stories.
Well, that's that's because Leatherface knew who the real villain was, because he was like, get out of here, and he's like, you're scared, you've been forced to do this because you worry about your own job. I know that it's the rich guy who owns the Cadillac out front who's actually to blame, so I'm gonna go kill him for you.
Leatherface is a fucking socialist hero.
Yeah.
And he's
actually
smart sometimes.
Leatherface is red Karl Marx.
Yeah.
Hold up. Actually, the beginning takes place in 1969, not 73.
Nice.
Forgot about that.
It's a good number.
Yeah. 1969, because it's right in the middle of the Vietnam draft.
Yeah,
that's right.
Right.
Yeah, forgot.
Which when they
also
when that dude's tied up.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long he's tied up for. They don't really show, but I would imagine it's at least an hour, maybe a couple hours.
Which guy is being? There's a lot of guys getting tied up.
There's
in
the
beginning,
the actual in the beginning, it's the actual soldier, the guy, the brother.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he's tied up to like a piece of wood or something.
Yeah.
And then the rope that he's tied to is tied to a beam that's right in front of his feet. And it's just a weird thing to do, I think. Like, he's hanging there for who knows how long. He's like, I'm just going to kick this thing that my rope's tied to, and kicks it twice and it breaks. Just like, come on, guys. It wasn't that easy. It just occurred to you now to kick that thing twice? Well, I think it was 3 times. But
it was a couple times.
Testing him.
He was watching his brother getting beat by Arlie Ermey for a little bit.
He was distracted.
He was under duress.
Yeah. And like I said, the infrastructure in this place is not the greatest.
Yeah.
They're working with what they got.
Well, it's not even that it broke so easy. It's just that it took him so long to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I guess he's being watched, and it's you're not gonna do it while you're being watched, baby. I don't know.
Have we increased,
stars, dude?
See, now he's just now he's trying to find someone down.
Yeah, it's 2 stars, dude. I
thought as we went through this whole episode, we at least bumped it up to 4 stars.
We did, but now he's brought it
4 stars. 4 stars. Maybe I'll give you a 3.5. See, I'm not fucking with Josh because 3.5. I can understand 3.5. 3.5's halfway to 5. So a little bit more halfway to 5. So I mean, I can Josh had great things to say about it.
Yeah.
Just having a bear trap goes up a 1/2 star for sure.
Okay.
All right. See, Josh had great things to say about the beginning.
See, now I got to watch the unrated cut, and that'll probably kick it up to 4 stars.
Yeah.
I will say, I might have been influenced by all the reviews, because when I opened Letterboxd and saw all the 4-star reviews, I was like, I feel weird giving a prequel to a remake to one of the greatest horror movies of all time 4 stars. So 3.5. But then I was remembering, and I was like, I never wanted to like turn it off. There wasn't any moment where I eye rolled. It was like, this is bad. Like there were more moments where I was like, oh, this is fucking great. Like I'm genuinely, as I was watching it, I'm like, how the fuck did I just skip this one or sleep on it for this long? But I watched Leatherface 2006.
Right.
I watched Texas Chainsaw 3D, I think more than once. How did I skip? How did I not get to this one? But I've watched all the other ones. Like this. Shame.
I genuinely hope that this episode has people go back and watch this one, because I'm sure that's a lot of people's situation. Because on paper it's dumb. I 100% on paper.
When it was announced or when I first saw the trailer, I was like, who the fuck asked for this? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
another one.
The only thing that I think me and Justin were like, because the fucking trailer for the remake, we were hooked. We were like, this is gonna be amazing. And you know what it was for me personally? It was that fucking sound that they used.
Yeah.
For some reason, that camera sound, I was like, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know why that says they know what they're doing, but they do.
Yeah.
And then we saw the trailer for Beginning, and we were like, oh fuck yeah. Like that, great.
It expanded and gave me more, or everything that I wanted out of the remake after watching the remake. Because I remember when we walked out of the theater for the remake, I was like, that was good. I'm not dissatisfied, but I want more.
Yeah.
I just want more of that. And I don't feel like I wasn't fulfilled of what I saw in the remake whenever I saw it.
So many times I've had that happen where at the end of something really good, a movie or a show or something, I'll be like, I want more of that. And then either the next season comes out or the sequel comes out or nothing, obviously.
Nothing.
But this is one of the only times where I was like, this is what I wanted. Like, this is genuinely what I was looking for. And they fucking delivered on all the parts that I wanted.
Yep. And then fucked it all up after this.
Yeah. No, I will agree. I think it was...
I'm not going to blame anybody involved in these.
Because when was... So the beginning was
2006.
Six. Okay. And then... So I think I was 20. So yeah, I was like peak douchebag. So... Nah, like I'll admit, I was
peaked at 20.
No, the amount, like the type of asshole I was at his worst around 20 years old. But I was working at Blockbuster, and I was an elitist about these movies, and so the idea of
you were working at Blockbuster,
a prequel to a reboot to the greatest horror film ever made, when I still had decided I didn't like the reboot, because I don't think I came around on the remake until like 2010 or something. Like I just like fucking abandoned it for a while, and I think it was when I didn't like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake very much, or I tried the Friday remake, and I didn't like the Friday remake the first time I watched it either. So it took a while for me to go back and watch these, and I was like, okay, with an open mind, where I'm just like, go in, I want to be entertained, I want to see some cool kills, I want to see some interesting characters, I want to do this. Don't think about anything that came before it. Just fucking enjoy this movie. And I watched the remake, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, this one's actually pretty solid. I think I talked myself out of hating it, but it's rare. That was me with almost every remake. Even the Dawn of the Dead remake, I was like, why are they running? Even though there's a voice in my head that's like, shut the fuck up. This is dope. Like this, stop being such a whiny asshole. This movie's great. And I'm like, no, you can't remake Romero, but you can, and you can do it well. So I think that was a problem, is I still didn't like the remake. So the prequel to the remake just sounded like a terrible idea to me, and I just didn't even bother with it.
It's like a 20-year-old Josh is like a 37-year-old Derick.
but now I'm trying to figure out why the fuck I even bothered with Texas Chainsaw 3D then. Like what happened there where I was like, all right, now I'm ready to give this franchise another shot. And maybe that's why I never went to the beginning, is I saw 3D and I was like, if this is the shit they're putting out now,
right?
Then,
and maybe the reason you were willing to give it a shot was because it's a completely different. It's not those two movies, you know.
Well, you're just a completionist. You gotta fucking
I have now seen the entire.
But then why didn't you watch Beginning?
It was the only one I hadn't seen at all, or at least I didn't think I had. Maybe I did, and I just, like I said, I forgot it, or I wasn't paying attention. Because when I worked at Blockbuster, I would try to rent everything so that I could give an honest review to people that came in, and you get so many free rentals, especially horror movies. I was bringing them over to our place, and we just watched so many movies, but I would not keep up with them, or I would not be paying attention to them, because we'd have a bunch of friends over and we'd be drinking and shit. So that may have been what happened with this one. And now I'm glad I sat down and actually paid attention to it, because it's definitely top half of the franchise for me, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Pretty good.
See, Derick, Josh gets it.
I think it's a really good 2.5-star movie.
Also, me saying top half of a franchise when it's this franchise isn't as glowing of a review as it could be.
That's a pretty heavily weighted franchise.
That'd be like saying my fifth favorite Hellraiser
movie.
We just watched 6 movies, and I don't think I've heard too many complaints about them. Like it seems like everyone's liked all 6.
Three
was not great.
That was the rough one.
Yeah. But everything else,
1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
great.
I mean, fuck, dude, 5 out of 6.
Yeah.
To be fair though, this
sounds
is
like a solid franchise.
Yeah.
This is my favorite franchise, but also it's my least favorite franchise for the movies we're about to get into.
Yeah. There is
these movies fuck this franchise so hard for me, especially
they don't exist
after remake and beginning being so good, in my opinion, and then they just completely tanked it. And I was like, why did we do this? Like what?
Yeah.
Like because people said that because the internet was too new back then. Now, if a bunch of people came out and said that they hated it, but the budget but the fucking box office was still good, they'd be like, fuck these assholes, who cares?
Yeah.
But because it was back before everybody was a fucking troll and wanted to fucking talk shit constantly about everything. Well, they still did, but it wasn't commonplace yet. So it still had like some weight to it. It's like, God damn it. But also, I don't really want a third one of it. I'm happy with that part being
the end of it.
Remake and beginning. It's just from there on, use those. Like, there's no way. I know what happened with Leatherface. Those guys never watched a single Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
But any of the others, there's no way that you as a fucking filmmaker can't go back and look at those two and be like, those are good movies. We should probably take some stuff from those.
Yeah.
They just didn't.
One of the things, and I know we'll get into it in the next episode because we're going to do the last 3 and 1.
Yeah.
Is like,
unfortunately,
I think the problem with these movies is like, it is such a simple idea.
Yeah.
And it is so self-contained into a little house of fucked up people. And that's really where it ends.
Yeah.
Part 2.
You can't go to Manhattan. You can't go to space. You can't
No.
Oh my God. Leatherface in Manhattan. He's not even mad. He's just stoked.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
that's
like,
what this franchise is really missing then.
It doesn't have a super goofy
need to
one
go.
for sure. Well,
Right.
I mean, two, like it does need a
But it's
fucking
different.
Leatherface in space.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's true.
So two funny letterbox reviews because I know we're probably wrapping up. One of them was there's one thing I know for sure. Sheriff Hoyt wouldn't tolerate 1 single second of Franklin's bullshit.
Oh, that's for fucking sure. Franklin's catching a fucking shotgun blast in the chest immediately.
Well, because that wasn't the. I mean, this is kind of how I interpreted it, but the friend in the remake with the chops who he's fucking with in the car when he's making him do, that he's essentially the Franklin in that movie,
Right?
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah. And then the other one was I don't really love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, but I do love how Leatherface just hangs the bodies on meat hooks. He'll get around to killing that guy on Wednesday. Killing 3 people in one day is way too much. The first slasher villain that's mastered the art of pacing himself.
I mean, like we were talking about earlier, it's dry aging, right?
There you go.
Totally.
Yeah.
I do. We haven't.
This is the first time someone's trying to get off of the meat hook.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's brutal. It's so brutal.
Ugh. Yeah, that whole scene, man. I feel so bad for that guy. And
then he just taps out. He's like, I want out.
Dude, I'm done. I'm done.
And I got a question.
Yeah, his leg is off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's
but
assaulted.
if I am in that position and I ask you, I'm pleading, please kill me.
Yeah.
Don't fucking stab me in the stomach.
yeah. That was like I'm watching the
not
scene and I'm
gonna
like,
kill
all right, she's gonna reach up and slit his throat or something, like right?
Yeah.
Like getting any stomach wound is the worst way that you could possibly die, from what I've heard. Like,
do it in the heart at least.
And also,
to make
like,
it quicker.
something.
Also,
like,
with that being said,
he just used his
there's no
arms
way
to try to
you-
pick himself up. Why doesn't he just like hand me the knife?
yeah.
Let me take care of this. Clearly, you're not capable.
She's like, all right, I'm going to kill you, and just start stabbing him in the stump.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna
Are you
find
dead
that
yet?
thigh
Are you
artery
dead
one of
yet?
these days. There
Punch
we
him in
go.
the thigh.
Yeah.
Maybe if I punch you hard enough, you'll bleed out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That was weird.
yeah, but it's still a good meat hook scene.
Definitely.
Great.
I feel like a meat hook, the meat hook should be enough to kill you. Like I would imagine that's in the spine.
Right? Like that's what
I
I've
don't
always
think it's
thought is like you're at
directly in the
least
spine. I think it's to
fucking
the side.
super
of it.
paralyzed.
Well, it's
wherever it is. I mean, it's hitting a lung, it's hitting a heart, it's fucking up your spine. You're paralyzed. It's doing something. There's no way you're just chilling there trying to get yourself off. And
oh no, you're done for.
Well, pause. If you're trying to get yourself off while you're on a meat hook, there's more going on there.
You only got so much time left, James. You want to make the most of it.
That's the movie. That's the movie I want to see.
If I knew the last time was going to be the last time.
It's just one guy on a meat hook desperately trying to jerk off.
Yeah.
5 stars, Derick.
Yeah, that's 5 stars.
This is fucking riveting.
Fascinating.
That's your, that's your 5
wait,
stars.
Wait. Oh, no, not yet.
Nope.
Not yet.
He's still going.
Yeah.
He's still going.
God.
All right.
Marathon shit.
Oh, it's rated. I found the unrated version on Amazon. But no, it's not completely side conversation, not talking about this. I'm trying to order the beginning unrated because now after hearing your glowing review of all the gore, I'm like, well, fuck, if I liked it as much as I did, I'm definitely going to like the worst version of it, like more brutal. So,
yeah.
Can't wait to see you fucking lower your rating on Letterboxd.
I don't think I've ever done that.
All the gore kind of took away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was too
Is that
gory
it?
for Josh.
Are we all
We
done?
can go to Rotten Tomatoes. So
Oh,
the
yeah, I
remake.
forgot.
Oh, wait, there's
remake.
That was one of the things I was looking at is how fucking abysmal the reviews for the beginning were when it first came out. Rolling Stone gave it 0 stars.
Jesus.
Yeah. Said it was
They didn't even watch it.
putridly written, directed, and acted. Filled
That was
with
me.
obvious plot
I worked
turns.
at Rolling Stone.
And then the New
damn
York
that.
Times said it was an invitation to hardcore sadism. And I'm like, yeah,
That's fair.
exactly.
That's fine.
That's- I feel like that's what we
That's
were
a
going
good,
for.
That's a nice review, though.
That's a cool review to have, actually.
Yeah. And then Variety said Liebsman hews close to the 2003 pic's bile-tinged snuff film aesthetic. Purists who wondered what had become of the family dinner scene left out of the remake should be pleased to find an even creepier version recreated here. And it was nominated for Worst Prequel or Sequel at the Golden Raspberries, but lost to Basic Instinct 2. Which,
well, yeah.
we don't have to do
I
that
didn't even know
franchise.
that
ever.
existed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, good on that one.
But yeah, sorry, we can talk
We'll
about...
try to get through Species. That's as close as I can
There
get
we
to
go.
Basic Instinct.
All right.
All right, Rotten Tomatoes. So the remake, we got 37% tomato meter, 58% audience score.
Okay.
Okay.
That's better.
And
Pretty
then
good.
That's
Pretty
better.
the beginning. Oh, I'll say also Letterboxd, we got 3.0.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good for
What'd you rate the remake? It was
Me?
3.5 stars, right?
3.5. Yeah.
3.5.
I just fucking 1.5 star under yours, Justin.
Yeah, yeah.
Were
No, I'm
you-
not.
were
I'm
you
not
at
fucking
there,
with
bud?
you. Yeah, I'm
Were
not
you-
fucking with you with
The 3.5 is his line. Anything above, anything 3.5 or above, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Anything under 3.5, absolute Armageddon.
Yeah, when you go, when you're like getting closer to 2, that's just for a good
Yeah.
movie.
Justin's
I can't
least
handle
favorite
it.
movie in the world is a 3-star movie.
Yeah.
Fuck that movie.
No, but see, like 3.5 stars for Next Generation, totally valid. I totally understand that.
I mean,
Derek.
you're wrong, but it is valid.
2 stars for part 3. I understand
Yeah,
that.
I get that.
You mean to tell me the beginning is only a half a star above part 3? I can't get on.
How do
board
you
with
respond to these accusations, Derek?
that. I can't do it. I feel
But
like
this is going to
like,
come up at the end when we have to do our ranking then. Because you're going to look at the star ratings you gave and you're going to be like, oh, fuck, do I like the beginning just barely more than
Yeah.
the
I'm going to
Viggo
keep this
Mortensen
on
one?
my.
You know what? I'm going to pay somebody to
I
do a
definitely
fucking
like it
graphic
more.
just so that when it shows the graphics, it then crosses out Derek's and Josh's.
Right. On my deathbed, Derek, I'm going to be like 2.5 stars. Are you fucking kidding me?
Derek, come
It'll be on
closer.
Justin's gravestone.
No, Derek,
If you
come
gave
closer,
Texas
Derek.
Chainsaw the beginning
I
less
can't-
than 4 stars, get the
Derek.
fuck away from my...
What, Derek? What do you feel about Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning now.
And then you're gonna look at me and be like, "It's a 1-star movie, bud. I've watched it
I'm getting
5
back
times.
up, motherfucker. I am not dying."
It's an average of 2.6 on Letterboxd. I mean, I'm kind of your average Letterboxd douchebag.
Look, everyone else is wrong too.
Yeah. That average would be higher if you had rated it correctly.
Feel better, Derek. You're not alone. Everyone's wrong.
Right. Although I will say, like, when I was going down the reviews for the remake or for the beginning, I was pleasantly surprised about how many people were like, "Hey, this is fucked up."
Yeah.
Like this feels more fucked up than a lot of the other ones in this franchise.
Especially for the first one, watching it this time, I really like focused in on the fact that like there's not that much gore in it. I mean, it's gross, like we talked about, but like it's way more psychological. Like you're fucking rolling around 75% of the movie with a fucking corpse just chilling in the fucking hot back seat of a van, and then you have to deal with it and like that gets. I was way more like, this movie is so fucked up because like everything that they get put into, it's just, how do we make it more fucked up? How do we make it more fucked up?
We didn't even touch on the scene of forcing the kid to reenact the suicide. Because that was probably the most intense scene of the remake, I thought.
Tidbit on that, apparently, they had to do it a bunch of times, and every time the kid would take the gun and shove it further in his mouth so that he would puke. And if you look, whenever he pulls the fucking gun out of his mouth, you see puke just spill out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like
that's pretty gross.
That's good.
He is really good at doing a bottom lip quiver.
Yeah, oh my god, yes.
One of the best bottom lip quivers I've ever seen.
I wonder
in a movie.
if that was the fucking like audition. They were like, how's that quiver?
Right. That would be a sick letterbox list to make, is really good bottom lip quivers. Because this one that belongs.
Yeah.
That's a 5-star bottom lip quiver.
I don't even know if I can do a voluntary bottom lip quiver.
No, I can't.
I can't. No way.
Yeah, it's
Should we all try right now, real quick?
Yeah, so do the video for it.
It's
too hot in here.
That's a half star, James. It's a half star, dude.
That's fair. That's 100. You're right.
Oh my god.
That is a half star lip quiver, brother.
All right, I'm gonna try.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's good.
It's like 2.5.
Go
stars.
shave real quick and come back.
Feel,
We'll judge about it.
2.5 stars.
2.5 star quiver. 2.5 star quiver, buddy.
Feels
All right,
so bad.
Josh, what do you got, Josh?
I can't. I got nothing. It's warm in here. I feel like I'd have to be like,
it's warm in here.
You gotta be like cold and wet to really pull it off. I get it.
Doing that.
Come on.
It's very dry in California. You just can't get the You need it to be moist.
It got too friction.
Yeah, too much friction.
So what's the fucking ratings on the beginning?
I think it's like 0 and 0.
God
Let me
damn
see.
you.
I think it's like
So
15.
it is 15% tomato meter
Jesus.
and a 53% audience score.
See,
Okay,
there we go.
that's fair.
Okay.
Wait, what was the
2.6
audience score on the
on it.
remake? 58?
56,
Yeah.
I think. Oh, 58.
That's
So it's in the
58
same.
and 53.
Yeah, it's in the same
I
ballpark.
expected
That's
more of a
fair.
drop off between the two, but that's
Me too.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
much of a drop off except for me.
Yep.
And it is a 2.6 on Letterboxd. I
Yeah.
keep harping on that, but
No, I know. I took note. I know. I'm well aware.
Oh, you mean
I'm average, dude.
one
I'm
point
average.
higher than yours? Weird.
Maybe you're below
Yeah.
average.
Weird
on
that the
Letterboxd.
average is higher than yours.
If I could have gave it a 2.6, I would have.
Jesus.
would've
God,
gone
it's
up.
like just twisting the knife.
All right, I'm changing it right now. Just for
Right in the
this.
stomach.
No, dude, don't do it because of me.
No, he's gonna lower it.
Oh, yeah.
I would have went up just to
That's
make
one.
Justin smile.
No.
No. If anything, we're about truth here.
I'll,
Creep-O-Rama.
I'll
Yeah.
go up to make Justin's bottom lip quiver out of happiness.
No, it'll be unearned. One of these days, you're going to be like, "Hey, guys."
Justin's got an unquiverable lip. I don't think you guys understand.
You're going to be like, you know what? I rewatched this movie, and I got to say, I was completely wrong, and you guys were completely right. This is at least a 4-star movie. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I'm excited. For
It's a
this movie to
3.
come through
It's
one
a
day.
3. If I had to quiver on my ground that I'm standing on.
Derek, have you seen any of the other movies we're about to watch in this franchise?
I don't think I have.
Okay, so that 2.5, Josh. That 2.5 is going to go up when you have the next 3 movies to compare it to.
Yes,
I promise you.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say that the Netflix one is
You said you liked that one, right?
I did, and that's a solid 2.5 star Texas Chainsaw movie.
And the other two
I
are
kind of like this movie, and it was
one.
that's how I felt about the beginning.
Okay. We will see.
I enjoyed the movie with parts that I just didn't enjoy, and I was looking at.
This is a fucking riot.
No, I think it's just weird how we all, because if I liked a movie, it's almost automatically 3 stars. They're very rarely 2.5 means I'm probably not going to watch this movie again. It was fine, but I'm probably never going to watch it again. Yeah. But if I'm halfway through this movie and I'm like, oh man, I wish I had seen this sooner, already 3 stars. And if at the end of it, I'm like, I can't wait to watch it again. We've done it.
I was too harsh.
We've done it, Justin.
Okay.
We've converted.
But
I was too
I want you.
This is
the
all
Cadillac really bothered me, and you guys fixed that for me. All right, it really bothered me.
That's the new theme of the podcast. Is Derick lists all the plot holes, and we fill them in, and he changes his score. That's going to be a new series. We're gonna go through your list of shit you've rated and be like, why Derick's wrong about this one, and then we'll.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's great.
It's funny because I feel like you and I have very similar ratings.
We do, yeah. More often than not, we're pretty much on the same page about most things.
Yeah, not this one.
I went in worried this was going to be overhyped because I didn't know anything about it. I thought it was trash, and then when you guys were like, "You haven't seen the beginning? It's so fucking good," I was like, "Oh man, now I'm going to feel like an asshole when I think it's just Derick. Fine." Yeah, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and end it before more shit happens.
All right.
Yeah.
Can we